Moonlight on the River by Deborah Korvacs and William Shattuck. Moonlight on the River. Moonlight on the River. Words by Deborah Korvacs. Pictures by William Shattuck. Deborah Korvacs is the author. William Shattuck is the illustrator. For my family and also for the river and its timeless beauty, as it was, as it is, may it ever be. To my sons, Will and Ben, and their ma, may moonlight always shine on you, and may the river always bring you home. The moon was full and midnight high. Ben shook Will. "It's time to go," he said. Will finished packing and threw the heavy bag over his shoulder. Moving silently so they wouldn't wake their parents, the brothers slipped outside. The night was filled with deep green smells and animal sounds. The air was warm as a bath. The ground felt damp and slippery on their bare feet as Ben and Will ran down the mossy slope to the river. There the sailboat waited. It tugged at its moorings, riding the rising tide. With a swish, a restless fish broke the river's calm surface. "Hear that?" said Will as they boarded the boat. Will tied a hook and a fishing line to the stern, then watched as the hook dropped into the depths. "You'll see, Ben," he said. "The blues always bite when the moon is full." Soon they were sailing up the smooth, wide river. A great blue heron shrieked farewell. Will manned the tiller. Ben held the sheets. The sail billowed under the light breeze. The little boat moved swiftly up the river's deepest channel. Ben watched nighttime shapes rise all about him. Everything looked different in the darkness, bigger, blacker, full of shadows. Ben blinked as his eyes played tricks. He edged closer to Will. In the night's velvet light, Will could scarcely see the break in the spartina grass. The rushes seemed to loom larger, the branches to dip lower. Will grasped the tiller tightly, his palms damp with sweat. Was this the way in? At last they broke through into the small cove. Will peered over the side of the boat. He moved the stern line up and down. Ben dipped his hand in the cool water, stirring up tiny creatures that glowed with phosphorescence. "The fish are here, just like you said," whispered Ben. In the cove, the bluefish swam in a tight circle, their fins and tails lit by moonlight glow and fireflies. Will kept moving the line for a long, still hour. Nothing bit. Will looked up at the moon, now a tiny circle in the sky. "We can't stay here," he said. "The tide's turning. We've got to go downriver." Ben's head felt heavy. He sank beneath the blanket of coat and made his arms his pillow. "I'll stay awake," said Will. Will guided the boat through the narrows and tacked south, heading for home. Alert, alone, he inhaled deeply. Had the night air changed? Did he smell rain? Suddenly, Will's breath was broken by a rise in the wind that raised the waves and wet the deck. "Keep her steady," he thought. When they reached the open water, the wind was huge. The sail began to flap, moving crazily back and forth. "Ben!" called Will. Ben woke up, ready to help. He hauled the sheet. Will manned the tiller. Still, the water grew higher. A chill rain fell, its sharp drops shattering on the deck. The boat heeled in the rising wind. Overboard went coat and book, socks and food. Breathing quickly, Ben watched Will. Will knew he must stay calm. "We've got to get off the river," he shouted. Now the storm surrounded them. Through the darkness and churning water, through the mist and salty spray, Will saw another boat. It was much like theirs, except there was only one man on deck. He stood tall and steady, his arm pointing to starboard. Was he guiding them to an inlet? "Let's head to starboard," called Will. In minutes, a safe cove sheltered them. Ben dropped the anchor. Will tied the stern line to a tree. They huddled beneath the tarp, waiting for the storm to pass. "Keep a lookout for that other boat," Will told Ben. But all they could see was rain and lightning, and all they could hear was thunder and the roar of the wind. Just before dawn, the waves rested at last. As Ben hauled the anchor, Will went ashore to untie the stern line. "We've got to remember this spot," he thought. He wished he had a penknife to mark the big old beech tree, but there was no need, for someone had been there before them. The boys sailed home in a steady breeze. Ben scanned the horizon and saw that they sailed alone. As Ben tied the boat to the mooring, the forgotten fishing line snapped with a strike. Will laughed as he hauled in a 5-pound blue. The brothers crept up the lawn, Will carrying his prize. They crawled through their open bedroom window as the sky began to lighten. Shivering, they changed to warm pajamas and curled into their beds. When their mother came to wake them, she saw the fish on the bedroom floor. What were those boys up to, she wondered. Then she knew, for she was once a girl on the smooth, wide river. She smiled as she looked out at the calm water that had delivered her children home safely. The river was quiet now. It stretched beneath the daylight, sparkling with the memory of journeys past and the possibility of adventures yet to come.